Welcome to episode 135 of the Beefy Boys Breakdown. We're going to be recapping UFC Fight Night, Topuria versus Emmett, and we have arrived at the main card. We have no bonuses on the prelims, even though you could argue most likely definitely should have been. But
Shouldn't even
that
be an
means
argument.
we have a lot of bonuses here on the main card, and the main card was gas too. So I mean, overall, super happy with the fight night. I mean, it was an ABC card, it was an arena fight night. Those two things elevate the fight night. So. I mean, but it delivered. I mean, it was an elevated event. Like in golf, they'll call like certain events elevated events. Like it was an elevated fight night for sure. Like it was a good one.
It was like the Travelers Open. You're right.
Yeah.
Much not like the Corn Ferry Tour, which is in Norman this weekend at Jimmy Austin. Shout out.
Oh, really?
The winner's going to be like 24 under. It's insane. They're tearing Jimmy Austin apart. They tried to make it hard, and then the wind and rain left, and now it's so easy. That being said, I thought that on this main card, granted, I mean, I think there are some deserved bonuses. Definitely some bonuses that shouldn't have been. But I think Vegas missed every value on this card. I mean, almost every single fight you could talk about where they missed value.
Yeah, really, with the exception of the first one, right? I mean,
Brendan Allen by sub was still crazy value.
yeah, you're right, and yeah, we didn't bet this. So starting the main card off, we got Brendan Allen, number 13th ranked middleweight, taking on Bruno Silva, plus 180. Brendan Allen's minus 210, middleweight division, and I didn't bet this fight, but I did guess it correctly on Verdict, which is like the next best thing. Shout out Verdict. It really is so fun. Like if you're an MMA fan, I always forget to like do the PFL. They have all the other promotions on there. Like I need to get my XP up on some PFL fights. Those are super easy to predict. They'll have like minus 1,000 favorites and shit.
And they fight in like a round robin. Like I don't understand the PFL. Like that whole system is like very weird to me. I don't think it's ever going to take off. Now, Sadabusi did have that great spinning wheel kick knockout that was highlight city. But if you're not going to allow elbows, but you're going to allow that heel to this guy's face, what are we talking about?
That is a super.
Like allow elbows. God damn it!
I gotta say, I rarely find myself like noticing it when I watch PFL. I don't watch a ton of PFL, but I do watch it. And when I'm watching it, I honestly forget that elbows aren't a thing.
Like, all right, but ask Maycee if she notices it whenever they're fighting.
I bet you're right. That's a good point. Shout out Maycee. She's actually in Slovenia right now. She's doing some training out there. Yeah, she's from out there. Yeah,
are you serious?
Her family is. Her family is. Yeah,
okay, yeah.
She's Slovenia. So like, yeah, like, but yeah, man, dude. So shout out Maycee. But yeah, like, I don't know. I like the PFL. I gotta say the production value is pretty dope.
It's
like
great.
When I was watching
That's the best
like
part
I was
of
like, it's easy on the eyes. Like I don't know, and they have like an AI scorer now, which is dope.
The AI scoring. They also have like they track all the stats live in front of you, so you can literally see everything as it's landed, which is both good and bad. Randy Couture is calling it. Nothing but respect for Captain America.
And
Kenny Florian.
K-Flow.
Yeah. K-Flow is also a great MMA mind. Like they break fights down tremendous on there, man. Like
you got the Wiz Khalifa intro song. It's fucking lit.
You know what's so odd to me too is that ESPN owns the PFL, so it's a subsidiary of ESPN, which is a subsidiary of Disney, which is William Morris Entertainment still, right? Now the UFC is owned by William Morris Entertainment, all the same, and ESPN is their broadcast.
See, I think that's where you're wrong. I don't think they own the UFC. I think they have like a licensing.
No, ESPN doesn't own the UFC. That's what I'm saying. Is like
ESPN
owns the PFL.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So,
sorry.
But so like if you track it all the way up to the top, they're the same company that owns both of them. That's what I think is so weird about it.
They're saying that owns the UFC and the PFL.
I'm pretty sure. Oh wait, does Disney? Oh, no. Disney owns PFL. William Morris owns UFC.
Well, yeah, because UFC has that. Like they did that with the WWE's owner and all that.
Yeah, and WWE and Ari Emanuel are like the people that purchased it way back in the day. So like definitely WME owns UFC, and then ESPN is owned by Disney.
The conflict of interest on ESPN's part is where the
that's what I'm getting at. Is like how do they show both?
Yeah, I mean they also show the USFL and the NFL too. So I mean I don't know.
I guess they only show one NFL game a week. Monday.
Yeah.
That's all they can afford.
Yeah, it's weird. It is weird, and I do think that's what'll obviously like hold the PFL back, which is the same thing that got the PFL on the map. Is because there's never going to be a time where the ESPN prioritizes them over the UFC. So they're like their second pony. But I mean, them being associated with ESPN is the only reason why they were relevant in the first place. So like, I don't know, what are they going to do? Go to like YouTube or Rumble or fucking I don't know. Like,
That's my thing is like, does PFL become like an online streaming, like just ESPN, like catalog? Like, I think ESPN wants it for a lot different reasons than like they want the UFC. Like, they want the UFC to make them money for sports headlines and be able to show those clips on Sports Center, on First Take, into the fighters. I understand that whole deal, right? Like being able to show actual like snippets of the fights and not be sued by the UFC for showing them. That's a big deal because Viacom used to own it, which is CBS. So like that was a big problem, right? So now that ABC is owned by ESPN, Disney,
yeah.
right? So that's why UFC can be on both networks now. So they have two different networks. Um, and then aside from that, I think it's more so that like I said, man, like whenever you're watching highlights, like they want to be able to pull the fighters on for interviews, talk to them, do all that. It's almost like Pat McAfee joining ESPN. Same thing, right? Like now Pat gets all these ESPN experts to come on a show every single day when he wants them. Now that is some sellout shit. I'm not even gonna lie. It's some Mickey Mouse bullshit, and literally it is Mickey Mouse because he's joining Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna ride with them until proven otherwise. They
For sure.
keep insisting
I will keep
that
listening
it's
until
not gonna change.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure, and they better have like an uncensored version on Spotify. That'll keep me happy, or YouTube. If it's censored on Spotify or YouTube, I'm gonna be probably pretty much done.
Well, the Spotify version's already different than the YouTube version too.
I know, which I'm cool with, but that's what I'm saying. It's like if there's not a place where I can listen to that show uncensored, then I'm probably going to be done with it because that is what I liked about it, like the vulgarity, the honestness, the just talking how normal people talk, like which includes cussing and off-color jokes and all this shit, like that's what makes it awesome.
AJ Hawk making terrible muddy water jokes underneath the surface.
It's the best. It's what makes that show awesome. And I'm not trying to watch the fucking parental advisory version. I'm just not.
I agree with you.
They keep insisting that it's not going to happen. So, like, until proven otherwise, I'll ride with them. But
now
back to this.
I was going to say, let's dive into the fight. I led us way far astray. I think the actual talk here should be about Brendan Allen. Kind of showed up.
It should be, man. Should be, man, because he's always had these moments where right when you start to expect stuff from him, he'll let you down. And Bruno Silva's, a tough night out for a lot of guys, but he's one of those guys where his best moment is a loss to Alex Pereira, so you never really want to be known for that.
More than anything, just a chin, right? Like being able to absorb those hits. Like that's the best compliment we'll give him. That's not to say he's not a good fighter. Like he is a solid fighter. But to be honest, fighting 13, he was kind of out of place. That's why I originally had called you, or we talked about it in our last podcast, right? That I thought this fight, not the main event, they've completely misplaced values all over the place.
Yeah, definitely. There's some money to be made here. But yeah, I mean, there's not too much to break down. This fight doesn't get out of the first round. Allen drops Silva with a right hook, which is impressive considering we just talked about Silva's chin. But yeah, dropped him with the right hook and then jumped on the back and got that rear naked choke in. Good. Allen, I still don't know how to feel about him because he's 10-2 in the UFC.
Great record, bro.
But
that's fantastic.
He only beats like mid fighters. He's never beaten every time he steps up, he loses. Like Kevin Holland's a good win, but Kevin Holland's unranked.
Wasn't that the head clash?
Divisions. No, I don't think so. It was a rear naked choke. I think you're thinking of Dawkins with that.
Yeah. I conflate the two for sure because Brendan Allen and Dawkins are so similar.
Well, and speaking of Dawkins, that's another one of his mid wins. Lost to Sean Strickland, and then he beats Punahele Soriano, who's good, but and I don't know, he just even this win, Bruno Silva, like does that brick you up? That doesn't do much for me. I mean, he was minus 210. I mean, the Sam Alvey win, Jacob Malkoun win, Jotko win. The Andre Muniz win was awesome. Like that was his best win probably of his career, in my opinion.
Here, I have a good way to do this real fast. All right, I'm just gonna name 5 names real fast. You tell me which one of them he beats. Derek Brunson, Roman Dolidze, Jack Hermanson, Gastelum, Imavov.
I'll give you Brunson because I think he's just toast and washed. But all the rest of them are pretty much like coin flips, or I would bet against him.
I 100% agree. Like Hermanson, Dolidze, Imavov, I'd probably bet
like
against
Hermanson,
Allen.
he might be able to get, but like I think it'd be a close money line. Like he'd probably be like a plus 120 dog.
I think same with Gastelum. I think Imavov's probably favored over him. Like
but I think
190.
Gastelum's going down to 170. I know this is hypothetical,
right.
but like.
Well, then I'm just saying, like, those 5 names, the 5 guys in front of him, and then you hit Sean Strickland, Costa, Duplessis, Vettori. He's not with those guys.
No, he's not.
And honestly, his size is a huge limiting factor. Like, he's not that big.
Yeah, and some of those other guys are huge. So, it's just, I don't know how to feel about Brendan Allen. It's why I don't really bet his fights anymore. I legit, because 10-2 in the UFC is nothing to sneeze at. But also, like, who have you beat and who have you lost to? Like, I just don't know how
it's a big part of it, right?
10.
Like, skill of opponents.
Like, oh, and he did halfway decent on the mic afterwards, was kind of calling out Izzy.
Oh, he did great on the mic because DC introduced it the right way, which was, you told me all week, whenever you got this finish, I wasn't going to need you to ask you any questions, so here it is. And just hand it to him. And Allen
the first thing he did was shout out Skinny Bets. He did
IG
okay.
And get you paid.
He
Not
did
us.
okay.
We haven't got paid.
He did okay on the mic. I don't know. I don't think.
Listen, the Skinny Bets thing, I think he makes $5,000 off of. So I'm going to say that too. First,
I honestly thought it was more. $5,000. Sheesh, Dana. But anyway,
I'll shout out Beefy Boys for fucking 500. What do you mean?
Yeah, but we're not professional athletes. Like, there's no way you get Steph Curry. I mean, Steph Curry's an extreme example, but even like an NFL rookie, you couldn't get Trevor Lawrence, who hasn't even got his big contract yet. You couldn't get Trevor Lawrence to like shout out something for $5,000. Like,
not,
I mean,
not
you couldn't
during the game because they're NFL players and they get paid millions.
I don't know. I thought
you got to think about pay scales.
I know. What I'm saying is that's a bad look that people are willing to like just like ruin an interview for $5,000. Like, I think that sucks.
Does it ruin it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, you're that guy. Then the monster can in their hand should ruin it for you. That's empty.
No, but you're not saying anything. It's not distracting. It's not taking my time as a consumer.
That monster can is trash. Like, you got to hold that for your interview for the.
But
decision.
It doesn't impact. It doesn't. I'll take that any day over the Skinny Bets bullshit. I'll take it any fucking day.
I mean, I definitely hate the Skinny Bets bullshit. However, I'm just saying, like, I get it why they do it. But I'll also say that, like, aside from that little shout out, like, he ran his little tangent, hit his little call out, like, ran it all.
Yeah, but he called out Izzy. Like, you're not getting that, dog.
Yeah. It was
he hasn't
terrible.
lost to Chris Curtis, who's 15.
Well, he said,
what do you do?
He said,
he beat Muniz, who's 14.
I think realistically, if Duplessis were to get embarrassed and Allen sat around long enough, Duplessis would fall back to fight him. But, like, realistically...
Or like, what if Strickland beats Abus? Maybe he fights Abus next,
yeah. Or if Strickland loses, like, Strickland's there to fight. No, he already beat the shit out.
They already fought. And, I mean, you could rematch it, but, I mean...
Give him Brunson. Fuck it.
Yeah, Brunson kind of makes sense. You might as well wring some little juice out of that name while you can.
Right. And give it to Allen, because why not? Because you know that you can feed it back into your top 5 immediately.
Yeah, for sure, man. But we'll keep it pushing. We're a little behind schedule here. And I want to puff my chest out on this Onama by KO.
Yeah, me and Michael texted about it behind the scenes, too.
Hit it at the sports book. Hit it on Verdict. What? Like, just seriously, I rarely do this, but this is what broke me, like, got me in the green. I mean, barely by a couple bucks. I pretty much broke even. But still got me in the green. Hit my 2 straights. Made up for the parlay tanking. And my other straight tanking. But, I don't know. I felt good about this one all week. I was pretty active on the group chat about it. I picked it on Verdict, put my money where my mouth is. Onama is just like a very plus athlete. Got a crazy chin.
The chin is huge.
Santos, 10-1, but hasn't fought really anybody. And I don't know. I thought Onama was going to be ready for it. I thought the money line was just wild on this one. Like, I feel you. It was like, I liked Onama, but it was the plus 185 that made me, like, fall in love and, like, hunt the value. Because, like, I mean, if it's plus 120, I'm probably, like, not even really talking about it in the group chat or whatever. But I was like, holy fuck, we're getting this at plus 185, boys. Like,
you're right. And like I said, man, like this whole main card is misplaced values all over the place, right?
Cause I'm gonna go to Gabriel. Keep talking. I'm gonna go to Santos's Tapology real quick.
Santos minus 215 at UFC debut though against a guy like David Onama. And what do we know about debut stats? Hard to win your debut in the UFC, especially when they don't give you a can. Like that's a tough opening matchup. Now that even being said, I even scored the first round to Onama. Like I might be crazy. I thought he edged it out. I know Santos threw up the arm bars and was really close. No, I'm sorry.
No.
I put Santos barely edged out the round 10-9. But I thought it was close.
I gave it to Onama because how I viewed round one
it was super
like,
close. Super close, right?
Santos's failed sub attempts, like, kind of equated to Onama's control. It's like how do you want? It's like half glass empty, glass half full. Because like, were those offensive sub attempts, or was that David Onama top control? You're kind of not wrong. I chose to view it for Onama because the sub attempts weren't that close. Onama was defending great. He was on top.
Only one arm bar. There was one arm bar that was like, I don't know how the fuck he got out of that. But then after that, it was fine.
You're not wrong. But, I don't know. I just didn't love it for Santos just being on bottom, throwing up, like, sub attempts that, like, weren't that close. And I gave it to Onama. But like I said, it's all eye of the beholder on that one.
Yeah, like I said, very, very close first round. Santos barely edged it out. 10-9 on my card. That's what my notes have. So, and I mean, all the judges say 10-9 for Santos, but I also think that's a super close round.
Yeah, the fact that all judges are lockstep on that's a little wild to me. My laptop's being dog shit right now, my internet is, but whatever.
Now, shout out to D-Mac in round 2, though, right? Because in round 2, we see Onama start to land the shots he wants to land. He's starting to land to the body, starting to bring the uppercut that he's like feinting but not throwing, but like bringing it to show Santos, like, hey, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And then finally, Santos forgets about the uppercut and eats that shit on the chin with a left hook to follow it. And it's pretty much out on the way down. But shout out to fucking Onama for feeding him one more on the way down.
Yes, feeds him another one. I mean, it was a fantastic KO. I believe this got a bonus. Like I said, my laptop's being dog shit right now.
I got it.
So, yeah, this...
Yeah, so David Onama, for sure, performance of the night.
Yeah, deserved it. I mean, that uppercut was fucking sweet. He was pretty much out. I mean, he gave him the follow-up shot. I mean, cashed my bet. And this is one of the few times where I got better odds than they listed. I almost never get better odds. I got plus 192 on that Onama.
Oh, let's go. Hell yeah. Almost double your money on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, ESPN had it at plus 185 at a lot of other sports books, so I hardly ever get the edge on that one, so that's awesome. And then, what was your thoughts on, like, the Fugazi Izzy Adesanya celebration with the arrows? I mean, it was okay, but, I mean, it just happened.
Didn't strike me well.
Didn't strike me well, but, I mean, I think there's a reason why they put this fight on the main card. I think UFC sees something on Onama. I've been liking Onama ever since that Landwehr fight. That was awesome. I mean, I'm not saying he's the perfect or he's the most well-rounded, but, I mean, he is a fucking tough night out for anybody outside the top 15. Even some of the top 15 guys, like I said, Nate Landwehr, they had an epic fight, pushed each other to the brink. So I think he's like, I mean, I don't know. Onama's a tough-ass featherweight. Featherweight's a deep division. I'm not going to, like, make any, like, bullish claims about his rise to the top, but, I mean, he's a tough night out for damn near about anybody.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I like Onama moving forward. Probably in featherweight, I'd like to see him fight one more guy that's outside top 15. I don't know if he's quite ready for it yet, but I really like him moving forward. Dangerous.
Yeah, like I could see him ended up like ranked like in the next year. Like I'm not saying like title challenger or nothing, but like cracking the top 15, I could see it. And we'll keep it pushing here to this just nightmare of a matchup, nightmare of a card placement, nightmare of an actual fight.
I mean, and also nightmare for the doctors at the hospital. That guy's eye is fucked.
Yeah, it was bad. We got Austin Lane taking on Justin Taffa here in the heavyweight division. Austin Lane making his debut at 35 years old, 6'6", former NFL player coming in at
Former
plus
Jaguars
160.
draft pick fighting in Jacksonville on the main card. Can you imagine? Fucking jack
Yeah.
him off harder, UFC. My God.
Justin Taffa minus 190. I mean, this fight could have potentially been cool had it actually gotten to taking place. I mean,
Right. I
elephant in
agree
the
with
room.
that. I agree with that.
Like, we got a no contest here, and it was the definition of a no contest because 29 seconds in, we have one of the worst eye pokes. I mean,
Bro,
we've ever seen.
I mean, a guy that's 6'5" or 6'6" has big hands, right? I mean, he got that thing this deep into Taffa's eye. Like, I don't know how
Yeah,
it can go up to his brain.
and I think the ref said something about Lane's fingernails were like a tad bit on the longer side too, so that's gnarly.
Oh,
Yeah,
and he was
yeah,
bleeding from like the
that's what I'm
skin
saying.
where the eye meets the eyeball.
I think that's that fingernail. I think that's where that blood like factors in.
That
So like,
makes
it's a 29 seconds. And no, those body kicks Lane were throwing, because at first I was like, oh, Taffa's gonna just knock this guy's head off. I mean, this is gonna be Greg Hardy all over again. But I gotta say, those body kicks Austin Lane was throwing, I don't think Greg Hardy ever threw a kick that clean in his whole life. So I think, like, I mean, 35 making your debut, like, I don't even know what we're doing here. Like, best case scenario, how does this story end? But like, I don't know, man. Like, there's nothing to really talk about. It's a no contest. It should have been. I feel really bad for Taffa. He flew all the way from Australia to have 29 seconds of, bullshit happen, and he's probably going to need some kind of surgery or detached retina. I don't even know. I'm no doctor, obviously, but that was no bueno. Like, that's some. I mean, I hope he doesn't get Bisping.
I mean, he said the day after, I mean, this morning, that everything's still blurry in that eye. Like, he can see shapes, but it's all blurs.
I mean, we got to really hope he didn't get Bisping. Like, we hope that's not a career ender.
I know. And then he also tweeted, I should get my win bonus. That's a DQ. I don't know about all that, but.
No, it was a no contest. Now, you can make a different argument that guys should get their. You can't give them their win on a no contest. I don't know. It gets murky. Maybe a little Dana Duffel
Yeah, you know
for the
what?
trouble.
I say we keep it pushing. I say this fight is
Yeah,
inconsequential,
you're right.
shouldn't be here. And for that point,
Yeah.
let's just keep going.
Like,
Fuck
the
it.
fact that this fight was on the main card, but Robertson Ricci wasn't, is just Fouquet's. Like,
Or
I can't
Magny,
stand that.
even. Like, Robertson Ricci could have headlined the prelims and put fucking Neil Magny, the guy that you've rode for 10 years, in this main card on a fight night. Like, that's kind of fucked.
No, I completely concur, man. But yeah, this next fight, I'll get the cat out of the bag. This is my fight of the night. Maybe it's recency bias. I watched it right before the pod. This was my fight of the night. This fight had me like being a fan in my living room, like yelling, oohing, awing. I mean, it was fan-fucking-tastic. And
Early
I gotta
stoppage?
say, no, I'm good with it. But and I gotta say, bro, like, we have been a pretty like not pro Maycee Barber show.
She showed out.
Bro, like, the fighter has changed my like opinion or grown on me more in one performance in quite some time. Like, Maycee Barber, I thought she was boring. I thought she was a snoozy wrestler, grappler. She's a fucking dog. So is Ribas. Let's dive into this. I mean, this fight was epic. We took Ribas as a show, final leg on our four-legger. Minus 195. I think we got her at minus 190. So once again, man, shout out to El Dorado giving us some decent odds of this week. But co-main event, big spot for both ladies. Ribas floats back and forth between 25 and 15. She's ranked 9. I think she's ranked what? So she's ranked 11 at strawweight and 9 at flyweight. That's pretty badass.
Yeah. Agreed.
That's pretty cool. And then Maycee Barber coming in, still only 25 years old, plus 165 dog, ranked 11 in flyweight. And who knew Barber could strike like that, bro? Not me.
Once again, the misplaced value. It's a girl going up 10 pounds. We should have thought about the weight differential, at least starting to take hold after you get into the top 10. But also, yeah.
I'm not even going to make that excuse, bro. I didn't think that Barber could hang with Ribas on the feet. I didn't think she could. She clearly could. I thought if Barber was going to win, it was going to be some snoozy top control, some ground and pound. I didn't think there was a chance in hell Barber was going to go strike for strike and even outstrike Ribas. I didn't see it, but that's on me.
I thought it would be a close fight that Ribas would win most of the positions, if that makes sense. Like, I thought Ribas was slightly better in almost all the different facets. So I liked Ribas a lot, right? I was like, how does Maycee Barber have a path to victory? Like, she's not going to outstrike her. She's not going to out-grapple her. She's not going to out-clinch controller. And in fact,
But she did
she did
outstrike.
all of it.
Yeah, you're right.
Even
man.
grappling, because Ribas is sitting there looking for a leg lock, and that shit ain't happening because Maycee Barber is defending and raining down damage while still defending.
Yeah, that was high level, man. The striking too was like it wasn't one of those things like a Jillian Robertson or a Chase Hooper where like, oh, they're learning to strike, but it's still not like ferocious. It's like technically better, but it's not like
oh, she was tagging her.
Like she was striking like a savage. Like she was getting after it and eating shots. But there's blood everywhere on both of them. I mean, this fight was a war. This was my fight of the night, and I honestly don't think it was close. Like I mean, it was close. There was two other very valid nominees. I love this as my personal fight of the night because both fighters absorbed so much damage. You're right, it didn't go the distance. We get a finish, but up until then, I mean, it was an absolute war. How'd you score round one?
One, man, I might be crazy. I gave a 10-8 to Barber. I thought the damage that she put in.
Fuck off.
What? The damage she put in on top was crazy. She had Ribas beat the fuck up.
She did, but also Ribas like probably won the first 2 minutes of the round. So I mean, that's in and of itself not a 10-8.
By what margin? Barely.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't by the widest margin.
Dog walked for 3 minutes. Like, man, I expect people to dance around for the first 90 seconds of any fight.
The duration wasn't there for 10-8. It wasn't like a pillar to post ass whooping. Like Ribas had success. Like
it felt like it.
Oh man, there was a lot of damage. I mean, definitely 10-9 Barber. I'll be real. Like I didn't see the 10-8 coming, so that's why I got a reaction. I mean, I don't. Your logic. I mean, I don't hate it. It was ton of damage.
I mean, she beat the shit out of her.
I just didn't see it coming. I didn't know it was on the table. But
I thought we were getting close to a finish in the first round. I won't even lie. Like, shout out to Ribas for being tough because a lot of girls do get finished to that level of ground and pound. Girls do not eat ground and pound well.
Speaking about getting finished by ground and pound, we'll keep it pushing to round two. But I mean, round two. That being said, it was a competitive round. I mean,
Ribas was throwing back the entirety of the time and was still trying to defend whenever Keith Sluggo Peterson stepped in. I'm not saying it was early stoppage because I think she's going to get stopped at any point there shortly thereafter, but she was still intelligently defending.
I see at the end, but there was like 30 seconds before the stoppage where the hand was trapped. I think that's why. I mean, that's why I'm saying it's not a late stoppage or an early stoppage. Because I thought it should have been stopped when the hand was trapped. So for her to, I don't think it should have even gotten to the point where she was defending because there was a good second where she wasn't.
Okay, I guess that's where I'm upset is if you're not going to stop it when the hand is trapped. Why are you going to stop it when she's trying to actually, like, hold her close and defend and not eat these shots and, like, suck herself up to her ribs?
Because like, Keith Peterson be on that defending. Bullshit. Like, it was like a makeup call.
Yeah, it was
like a makeup call in basketball.
I agree.
Like, I should have stopped it then. I guess I'll stop it now. Because I understand the point you're making. Like, if you just saw the, 3-second clip of the actual stoppage, you'd be like, oh, she's defending. But if you watch, the 45 seconds leading up to that, little context made a lot more sense. But you're right, it should have been stopped then.
Ass whooping, but yeah, I'm saying if you're not going to stop it then, why are you stopping it there?
He should have because he's all nonsense. But man, I thought it was pretty badass because in the first round, Barber busted Ribas' nose. Then the start of the second round, Ribas busted Barber's nose.
Yeah,
and dude, it was a scrap. Like
honestly, Ribas was landing nice shots in the first minute until she just withered to the storm.
Yeah, I'm back. But yeah, no, I mean, it was an absolute war. This was my fight of the night. So much stock gained by Maycee Barber. I didn't know she had this dog in her, or even the athleticism. Like those strikes were coming quick and hard and powerful. And I mean, great performance. Yeah, KO win gets a bonus. Like I said, I mean, Barber gets a bonus. I thought both ladies deserved one, but I mean, really, we'll keep. I mean, I guess we'll talk matchmaking a little bit. I phone just hit 20%, but I think we have plenty of time. We're doing okay.
I think we just run what Barber's up next for. I don't really care about Ribas too much. I'll be honest. I don't think she moves the needle too much. I think she's good fodder for a girl like Casey
But
O'Neill, a
no,
girl
no,
like
what we
Tracy
talked about
Cortez.
earlier. She goes down and fights Ricci at strawweight. I
Oh
think that makes a
yeah,
lot of sense.
that makes the
I think
most
that makes
sense
a ton of sense.
for sure.
But for Barber, I mean, I think what Barber's already fought Araujo, right?
Yeah, I kind of want to see that Barber Lauren Murphy because Lauren Murphy,
Yeah,
that bitch is old, right?
yeah.
So how many more
And she
fights are
doesn't
we even
really
gonna get out of her?
squeeze it, ring it
Yeah,
out,
oh, ring
ring
it.
it out,
And I mean, you
like
got to
like
really
Brunson.
ring it because she's dried
That
out at that age.
that Brunson, give me that old Brunson ring.
uh,
But no, I agree. I agree. Lauren Murphy, if she had a shot, she's just on the way down. Barber's on the way up, and Barber earned herself like something good with that performance, like best
hey,
performance of career, bonus winning. Like she earned like a big opportunity.
can we just take a quick side note on Caitlin Chikagian getting married and now being Sermonara?
Where is
Look
that?
at number 6.
Oh, Caitlin Sermonara. Wow, what a name!
Just so you know, in case you see that name, you're like, who the fuck? That's her.
Did you see that Santos Blanchfield got announced?
That's gas.
It's like literally like a dream fight of
To
mine.
me,
Like that's
to me,
my
that's
2K simulator dream matchup. Like
to me, outside of Blanchfield and Grasso, like those are the 4 girls that will rule this division for the next 5 years.
Fioro's fighting Rose. Yeah, Fioro's fighting Rose. Rose is coming back up to 20, or coming up to 25 and fighting Fioro. That's crazy.
Damn, that is crazy.
So that division, they have like a Grand Prix going.
Wow.
To me, that's a Grand Prix.
Yeah,
like,
that's sick.
whoever,
Yeah, winner, chicken dinner for the title.
I agree, man. Because Shevchenko, Grasso 2's booked. They fight in like a month, I think. So that division's keeping it pushing. Like we're going to see. I mean, there's no log jams in that division right now. It's all the matchups we want to see.
That's heating
like
up.
it's moving. Yeah, I'm super stoked. But let's get to this main event, man. Because so as a personal human being, I mean, as a fan, we were riding Emmett hard.
I wouldn't say Emmett to win. I wasn't right. I was just saying Ilia Topuria minus 345. I never thought he could be that much of a favorite. Now, did he prove me wrong?
Right.
Fuck yeah, he did.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Now,
I agree with all
was
those.
I proven right on my over? Hell yeah, I was.
Harrison cashed that over at plus 170. Nicely done, sir.
We take
plus
those,
170.
Baby.
Over 2.5 in a 5-round fight. I mean, that was a good number. The over-under numbers were where the value were.
Honestly,
I got the Trevor Peak 1.5. You got the 2.5. Because usually in a 5-round featherweight fight, now granted, these are both finishers, outliers to that, but in a 5-round featherweight fight, to get 2.5 as the number, it's usually 3.5, 4.5.
Well,
3.5 is usually if you're lucky.
Volk Holloway, we had 4.5, and I was betting the under and didn't get it.
Yep. So good on you calling this over. I had an Emmett straight ticket. You know, what can you do? I was the value monster was trying to eat. Like you said, I thought the number was too big. Yeah. I thought the number was too big. I thought that Emmett would be the best wrestler Topuria's fought. Turns out there was no wrestling at all, really, until the 5th round. So who the fuck cares? Didn't end up mattering. And then I thought that, he was the biggest guy Topuria's fought, which may or may not be true because Topuria's had some lightweight fights. But goddamn it,
has the most
huge
power of anyone Topuria's fought by far. So if he gets landed on, which Bryce Mitchell
most experience.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you. Like, everything for me besides age was like kind of an Emmett favor.
Yeah, I agree. That's how I saw it. Now, we were proven drastically wrong. We kind of got to go round by round here. We had some wild scorecards. We got some historic scorecards that I honestly don't agree with. I don't agree with it. I really don't.
I can't wait to get to it. I agree with one of the judges. I'll let that out of the bag. I agree with one of the scorecards.
I hope we end up with the same scorecard. We've been pretty lockstep all night. But, 13-0 Ilia Topuria, minus 345, 9th in the featherweight division, taking on former title challenger Josh Emmett, 38 years old, plus 285 dog, 5th ranked featherweight. So, I mean, maybe not a number one contenders match, but like a quarterfinals match. Like,
pretty much.
Like the winner of this one is like in the conversation, especially if it's Topuria.
Right, yeah, and I know people want to like heist him up there, but people also got to step back and think about featherweight, and like there's tiers to it, right? Like, who's above Emmett? It's the next tier of guys. It's Yair, it's Holloway, it's Volk, it's Ortega. Like, those are the next guys, and Emmett's not their level.
Yeah.
He's close, but he's not their level.
Close. Arnold Allen, too, forgot about.
He's like that in-between step. I don't think he's their level either. I literally think the 4 guys I named are very different than everyone else.
So it sounds like you haven't lost too much stock in Ortega. I'm just interested. The matchmaking with Ortega is going to be interesting. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't know if Ortega wants this Topuria smoke.
I think he does. Because he's got the most insane chin, and Topuria clearly doesn't have the best finishing power.
Oh, fuck out of here. He has hella finishing power.
Did he get a finish? Did he get a finish, D-Mac?
Is Emmett a human being or an actual fucking Kevlar tank?
All right. So I'm glad you said that because, like, earlier in the show, in the prelim breakdown, I alluded to who would be my Chin of the Year winner. It's not even a question. It's fucking Josh Emmett.
Orbital of the year. Jesus Christ.
Like, and you know what's so crazy for me to say that? I thought it was Vettori, no questions asked, last week. But
those two, I mean, we're going to have to rewatch.
Right. It's going to be a goddamn debate between those two.
Well, you know what might be fun is to do like watch-alongs as the lead-up to this year's Prime Choices and like stream them, kind of like Fight Companion.
I'd be down.
Like,
we can talk about them like live while we're watching them.
Yeah, that'd be fun, bro. Because God, Vettori got a record broken on his face. He got catered
at 185.
Yeah,
however,
exactly.
The damage and the level of strikes Emmett ate, holy shit.
You're also correct. Also correct, man. No, I thought Emmett's best round of the whole fight was one. I mean, Captain Obvious alert there. The damage had to compile. He's a power striker. He's going to be best in round 1. But he is a 5-round fighter. That being said, still wasn't enough. I did have the word close in round 1, though. Like, I don't think the margin was, like, that crazy in round 1. It was a competitive round 1. I thought it was Emmett's best round. But just the volume and the damage, even from an early, like, even in round 1, Topuria is winning the damage battle. Just Emmett was firing back more. He got Topuria to back up a couple times. I'm trying to be kind to Emmett here. It's his best round. I mean, Topuria still won it.
So I agree with you. I thought Topuria won it 10-9, but I thought it was because he stayed defensively super responsible for that first half where Emmett was just like winging nuclear missiles at him. And he was getting close, but Topuria would not bite, would not entertain it, and then would also land jabs, combos, and leg kicks to respond. So, I mean, it was literally like a more intelligent fighter fighting that was also younger, which is usually not the combination.
Dude, that's what I kept telling myself, like, in my head. Like, the whole time I was watching this fight, I was like, wait, that's the 26-year-old? Like the 38-year-old was fighting, like, the prospect, like, winging the punches and not necessarily making the reads and the feint. Like, Ilia Topuria's level was so high. It was, like, reversed, like, typically from the older fighter to the younger fighter. Yeah, man, Topuria is so polished. And we talk about Topuria's power. That's why, like, I had to kind of push back. Like, round two power was on display.
I said the second round was close to seeing Topuria get the finish. Topuria's patience was allowing him to tee off whenever he wanted because Emmett would get like a caged animal and then throw like these massive shots that would just hit air, and then he'd be open for these big counter combos that Topuria was happy to feed to him. I loved round 2 for Topuria. Only a 10-9 for me. Very close to that 10-8.
Hey,
very close.
I'm so glad you said that because I was like, am I crazy for not giving Topuria a 10-8 here? Like, am I hating? But I did because I had 10. But Emmett was doing just enough, right? Like, he did get knocked down, but he popped right back up. And then he got hurt again at the end of the round, but he didn't go down. And he was firing back. And he was,
he kept Topuria super honest. Like, Topuria couldn't just hunt him, which for me was like, well, if you're not hunting, if you're fighting, like, this feels like still a 10-9.
Kicks for Emmett. Like, he was having a little bit of success. He was recovering. Definitely lost the round, but I was okay. I'm glad you saw it 10-9 too. Did any judge give this round a 10-8?
Oh, no. So far we have 2 10-9s for Topuria, and one judge has round 1 to Emmett, round 1 to Topuria.
Oh, okay. I don't hate any of that. All right, we'll keep it pushing into round 3, man. I mean, once again, man, like 10-9, clear 10-9 for Topuria. The boxing, the jab, the volume, the damage. I mean, this is where the crew started busting out the old M word, the masterclass word.
Literally.
And, like, it was. But once again, I have in my notes, Emmett's competing and he's landing. It's a 10-9. But, like, it sounds like an oxymoron. Like how we say masterclass and all this stuff. But, like, Because Emmett was scrapping, he was fighting, he like wanted to be there.
Listen,
he was competing.
The man cashed my over. Definitely a 10-9, right? Just for cashing my over.
Right, that's how you win scorecards on Beefy Boys. But no, man, he was doing just enough. Now round 4, I think is what we got to really.
One judge did give a 10-8 here.
Not crazy. I kind of talked myself out of it.
Which is going to give good precedent for this round.
But honestly, if I would rather give round 2 a 10-8 than round 3.
Because all the damage, all the damage is really from round 2 that you're seeing take effect in 3. I agree.
If you 10-9 round 2, I think you have to 10-9 round 3. In my opinion, I think it's a little inconsistent.
I agree, and 2 judges agree with us. Saudi Amato and Eric Colon. Now Christopher Lee, he has the 10-8 here to Emmett. Now round 4, not debatably, is a 10-8. However, is it a 10-7?
Hell no, and I'm so bullish on this, and I'm actually annoyed that this is a conversation. Like, think about.
I'll say it's one of the. It's definitely for me like on the obviously 10-8, right? So like we're not even going to debate 10-8, 10-9. Yeah. So for me, then it already has to take a step into like, well, 7 has to be closer to 9 if that's how I feel.
If you want to get that deep in the weeds, I guess I'll go there with you. And I don't hate your like logic. I see. I'm picking up what you put down. But
I went 10-8. Yeah.
Well, my point is we've seen way worse, less competitive ass whoopings than round 4 that weren't called 10-7. So if we're using precedent,
when Max Holloway was putting Ortega's hands. Or when he was putting Ortega's hands on his head and was saying, like, when I elbow, you put your hands up and I can't get it through. And then he would just elbow him real quick and, like, was, like, trying to show him how to defend what he was throwing at him. I mean, bro, that's a 10-7. Like, he's giving him classes in the middle of a fight.
Yeah, and that wasn't a 10-7, though. Like, I see what you're saying, but it wasn't given a...
No, so that's what I'm saying. Like, that's my definition of a 10-7 is that round. Is like, if anything's a 10-7, it's that shit.
Again, a different Max Holloway fight, which shows how goddamn good Max Holloway is. Like Cater, like if there's no 10-7s in that fight, I can't give it 10-7 here.
If round 3 or 4, I can't remember which one it was, but if one of those isn't, where it's literally like Cater's corner is like asking him like, "Do we stop it? Should we stop this fight?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm fine." It's like,
or like even last week, if Cannonier like it was like 75-12 strike differential or something like that to the face. That wasn't a 10-7. There's a million examples.
Or when Anthony Smith's teeth were getting knocked out of his face and he literally handed them to the ref at the end of the round after getting his ass beat for 4 minutes and 40 seconds.
That's what I'm saying, bro. And you can make the ultra lawyer ball like those should have been, but if they weren't, then this is it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to go back and be revisionist history, but if we're just operating in reality and how to score rounds, that's not a 10-7.
But that's a great point because this isn't a new judge. This is Christopher Lee. This guy's been doing it for 15 years for the UFC. So, like, if he never gave a 10-7 before, actually, I think he did to Emmett in favor of Emmett in one of his original fights.
Oh, wow.
However, I'm just saying, like, in the short history of 10-7s in the UFC, this isn't it.
Because, and it's not anything, like, and this is going to sound weird. Topuria had a 10-7 performance, but Emmett was competing and fighting back and like in the fight. So like by definition, now, if you're like in the fight,
I will say as like counterpoint, his corner did ask him at the end of the 4th, "Do you want us to stop it?"
He said no.
He adamantly was like, "I'm good." Yeah. No, hell no. And then the doctor was like, "Do you want to fight?" And he goes, "Yeah, man." Like
that's what I'm saying, bro. Like that's not a
mentally, and like afterward they interviewed him, and he was still there mentally. So like, yeah, at no point was he like so rocked he like wasn't himself.
Now round 5, super smart by Topuria. Kind of goes with a takedown heavy game plan. Gets I think 3 takedowns.
Just ice of victory. Ice of victory.
Which was smart. I mean, it was kind of merciful to Emmett. Like he kind of took the round off.
So it sounds like we both have 50-44.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Let's go.
The exact same. Yeah, we're lockstep on.
Now, here's what I wanted to raise to you is 49-45, don't hate that. 50-44, don't hate that. 50-42, that's crazy for the 10-7.
That's a crazy, yeah. That's annoying.
Here's what I wanted to say, though, is if Emmett wins 1, 2, and 5, let's just say, but then gets 10-8 and 10-7, he loses that fight 47-45 by losing 2 rounds. And by 2 points. Can you imagine? Like, that's how impactful we're talking about a 10-7 is it's worth 3 rounds.
Yeah, and that's just not what took place. Man.
I agree with you. That's what
it
I'm
wasn't,
saying.
It wasn't one-way traffic enough. Like, you know what I'm
Agreed.
saying? Like, Emmett was doing – like, to get 10-7, you have to literally have no success. Like, you don't win a single position. You don't land
10-7
a good
is me
shot.
saying the ref should have stopped it, is what a 10-7 is. Is me literally saying the ref, this fight shouldn't be happening. And that he missed.
Like,
so I have to give you minus 1 more point because, like, you literally did nothing to even be in this fight. Emmett was fighting back the whole time.
The whole time. And, like, landed some shots. Yeah, no, I agree, bro. That's pretty annoying. Because, like I said, I watched this fight this morning. So I had already seen a couple spoilers and shit on Twitter. And, like, I saw that, like, and I saw the group chat. You said something about a 10-7. And I was like, the whole time I was watching, I was, like, waiting for it.
Waiting for the 10. That's what I wanted you to do. That's what I wanted you to do. That's why I didn't name the fight.
And then I watched round 4, and I was like, oh, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here.
But you knew that was the round in question.
Yes, I did.
That's an imperative point. Like, we all know what round would be the only one that 10-7 was even a question on.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire card. I don't even mean this fight. Like, through the entire card. Like, this one round was closest to 10-7 of all of them. Not a 10-7, but closest.
No, for sure, bro. For sure. And then, I mean, I think... see, it sucks that... I don't know what you do with Emmett next. I mean, Giga has to fight somebody.
Emmett Giga's
Bryce
great.
Mitchell has to fight somebody. Sadiq Yusuf hasn't fought in a hot minute. Dan Ige's coming off a win.
Emmett Evloev.
You could do that. Yeah, you could do that.
I mean, that's just like the dark world of where he's headed.
He's fighting down like a lot.
100%. And that sucks.
They're
but
going to try to give him the old ring.
He's old. He's
still good, though, but he is old. And his skill set is like, see, it sucks to even say. He kind of fights like Michael Chandler. Like, he doesn't use the wrestling. It's hard to, like, really, like, talk down on the skill set because he can do these things. He just, like, chooses
not to. It's the mindset, not the skill set. Now, I think the big question is, Topuria, you got motherfuckers out here saying, like, oh, I could see him fighting the winner of the title fight. Like, hell no. He can't just skip the tier of fighters that is, and I'll put Arnold Allen in there for this purposes of fighting Topuria because we still don't know where he's at. But, like, that's
where I'm going. I'm going Topuria Allen. I'll just get it out of the way.
I fully agree with you, but here's my point: is if I'm Topuria, if I'm going to fight someone as good as Arnold Allen, fucking just give me Holloway, Ortega, or the loser of the championship.
Well, Holloway's fighting Zombie, so you'd have to wait a second.
So just give me Ortega or the loser of the belt.
And are you going to make Max fight back twice? Like,
well, no, I'm just saying, like, Yair and Volk. Like, give me that loser, or give me Ortega.
Yeah,
I would do everything I could to avoid Allen because a win over Allen doesn't tell me that you could beat Holloway or Ortega or Yair. Right? Because I don't think Volk loses. I'll just be honest. But, like, you have to beat one of those 3 to be able to fight Volk. And so Arnold Allen's not the guy to get you to Volk.
Yeah, and it would be kind of cool to spread that love around. It'd be cool even if it was on the same card. Like if you did like a Holloway, Allen, Ortega, Topuria kind of like little Grand Prix on a card.
And Ortega Topuria is super fun because like it's a whole different skill set of like Topuria can't afford to wrestle with him because it's too dangerous.
Well, see, I disagree. Did you know that like Topuria was like a jiu-jitsu champion in Georgia like long before he even became a striker? Like he has like I get you, the level is different.
Fully agree. I just think Ortega in no-gi is like no one's ever seen that shit before. Like the way he can just trap necks is insane.
Yeah, no, it would be awesome. And you're right, Ortega's chin could hold up much like Emmett's.
And that's the thing, he has the chin with a different skill set of weapons.
And he's more well-rounded. Yeah, it would be a different test for Topuria. And then Allen, who do we say? Allen versus Yair or Allen versus Holloway? Allen lost to Holloway, right? We already saw that, right?
Yeah. You have Holloway. You have Holloway, Zombie. Allen's chilling, waiting for his. Like Allen, I think wants to fight up, although he probably needs to fight back. But it's like a who would he fight kind of a thing. Allen Ortega makes a lot of sense, honestly, because they're sitting there. And then Topuria, I do not think should get a title shot. I, in fact, would like him to get the loser of Volkanovski Rodriguez. Like, I think Yair Topuria is the best possible fight.
You're right. Yeah, I'm cool with all that, to be honest. Like that, like kind of. See, it sucks that that division's kind of logjam because you got Emmett. What's that looking like right now at 5? You got Cater, who is still very, very good, but goddamn has a lot of steam coming out of that train. You got Zombie, who's getting retired, sent out to the chopping block. Let's be real. Giga, for some reason, like just doesn't fight anymore. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it was a USADA pop. I don't know what the fuck's going on there. We haven't seen him in forever. We haven't heard any whispers. We haven't seen any rumors. I do not know. You got Evloev, who, through no fight of his own, keeps getting fights rescheduled. And then you got that back end, which is kind of murky, too. It's like, featherweight's a weird division. It's a very weird division.
It's so hot at the top and so mids in the mid and so hot at the back. It's very weird. Because, like, the back is not names that matter. But
I don't know. Even the back doesn't do me much. You got Sadiq Yusuf, Dan Ige,
That's
Barbosa.
I agree with you. The names don't matter. Like, they're not names that sell. But beating those guys is going to like allow the new wave in, and there is a new wave waiting slowly behind. So like those names are important for that. But I'm saying like the middle doesn't really sell because like where are they at? Like we know they're ahead of those 5 guys that we were talking about just now, but they're not the top 4 guys.
Giga's the only X factor where I think he has like one. That, but like
Evloev.
Giga and Evloev, yeah, no, for sure, 1,000%. I think we're all a little cooled off on Bryce Mitchell at the moment.
I mean, bro, if you said every name from 5 back, there's only 3 that get me excited. And that's Chikadze, Topuria, Evloev, and they're 8, 9, and 10. Everyone else, like, I'm very cooled off on. Very cooled off on.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Next week, just real uber quick look ahead. I mean, it's going to be a ton of fun. You got Strickland Abus, which isn't the best main event, but whatever. But the rest of the card is absolute gas. Ismagulov versus Dawson, which it's hard for me not to take that Dawson plus 125. I'll be real. Michael Morales at minus 200 over Max Griffin seems like a parlay builder to cream my jeans over. You got Lipsky, Gatto, which Lipsky's getting a little plus money. She seems to right the ship. Bonfim minus 285.
I like the Bonfim under. I think Benoit gets finished.
Okay, or Bonfim. Yeah, I would love the Bonfim brothers.
I think Fakhretdinov against Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee's back. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Oh, dude, I'm putting Fakhretdinov on a parlay all day. It's minus 225, it looks like right now. Like that with Morales on a parlay is looking nice to me. Maybe throw Bonfim on there too.
Also, I think Yana Kunitskaya beats Karol Rosa, and I think Romanov beats Ivanov because Romanov's just better at the exact same things as Ivanov.
Do you see the Kutaladze number? I don't see it on the UFC's website.
Minus 450.
Yeah, I figured it would be something like that. What's the line on Romanov Ivanov? The Battle of the Odds.
Doesn't have that line.
Even on Best Fight Odds? Over right now. Okay, it has a Romanov minus 140, Ivanov plus 115. I don't hate the Ivanov plus money, to be honest.
What? The Romanov minus is the value there, my guy.
See, I think I've lost too much money betting on Romanov.
That's what I'm saying. This is the point where you turn it back around. Right.
That's where I get it back.
That's where you get it back.
That's where we get it back. Fucking Adam Sandler. All right, bro. Well, shit. I can't wait for next week, man. This week's been a lot of fun. And, check out We Never Miss a Card, 135 in a fucking row. So that's why you should subscribe to our channel. And, if you'd like to have a little fun talking fights, hop in our comment section. We'll reply to you. We'll engage with you. Follow us on Twitter. Get at us there, at Beefy Breakdown. And, man, looking forward to next week. I really am. Next week's card is deep as fuck.
Should be gas, man. Everyone needs to watch that card and join us back Sunday for that finish because I'll be in Mexico Monday through Friday, baby.
Oh, that's sick. I didn't even know that, bro. Safe travels. That's awesome.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I will. I'll hit you up though because we'll have to plan out when to do the show.